What's up everyone, welcome back. Today we're playing Atraxa Grand Unifier in Historic Brawl. Although this is not your typical Atraxa video, this is Dimir Atraxa. What do you mean? I mean that I'm playing only Dimir colors. So this is a multi-part series where I'd play each of the guilds in Atraxa's 4 colors. So you have cedh, Azorius, Dimir, Simic, Orzhov, and Golgari. So there's 6 guilds that can fit inside those 4 colors, and one of them is Dimir. So we're building a guild, a deck, I should say, for each guild, and making a video about it, and seeing if we can get the deck to work in Historic Brawl. So this is essentially Dimir control. You know, counter spells, removal, nasty planeswalkers, nasty creatures, card draw, all the stuff you would expect. You know, getting in the opponent's hand, and then Atraxa to come down on 7 mana and refill our hand and do it all over again. Atraxa, I'm sure you're all familiar with this creature, but real quick for those who aren't, if this is your first time seeing a video with Atraxa, this is not the standard Atraxa deck. Usually you're using white and green cards in the deck, but this is a deck building challenge. But this is a 7/7 flying vigilant death touch lifelink creature, already pretty nuts. And then when it ETBs, you search the top 10, or you reveal the top 10 cards of your library, and you can put a permanent card of each type into your hand. The permanent types are listed at the bottom there. So essentially, the way you could reread this is, this card enters the battlefield, you draw a new hand, right? It's essentially what happens. You pick from you pick the best cards, or the most applicable cards from the 10 that you reveal, put them right in your hand. And of course, that's really good in a draw-go Dimir deck, because we want lots of cards in our hand at all times, so we have answers for anything that's going on the board. As far as lands, in order to get to Atraxa mana, it's mainly Dimir lands, as you can see, but we do have all the fetches from the cons, if it pops up for you, all the cons fetches. So with those, we can go get either of our triumphs or any of our shock lands. I only included shock lands that either had blue or black in them. So like Breeding Pool here has blue in it, right? Or Overgrown Tomb has black. But I didn't include lands like a green-white land, a cedh land, because that doesn't have either of the colors of the main color that we're running. So that's sort of the way that we mana fix while still maintaining the integrity of our deck. Once we start including lands that, you know, aren't that make mana that aren't in our pool, then we start being able to not cast our own spells, right? We need lots of blue and black to make this deck work. The only thing that's sort of around that is Boseiju, just because it's so good, especially in the Dimir deck, because we don't have a lot of ways of removing enchantments or artifacts. So that's one of the ways that we can do it. And then we do have a basic land type of each type, so a basic snow covered plains and a basic forest right there. But that's only, again, in case we need to fetch them in a pinch. So that's the deck. Let's see if we can get in the queue and get some wins. If you like this kind of content, subscribe. Like I said, if maybe you're not a Dimir player, but maybe you are, you know, an Orzhov player, there's going to be a deck for you. You know, maybe you're a blue-white player. That deck's coming up. So, you know, stay tuned, subscribe. Your version of this deck will be coming down the pipe. Simic Atraxa, right? Balmor. Okay. So something I didn't mention in the beginning is that even though we've neutered ourselves by taking out 2 of our colors, we are still playing in Hell Queue. So, we still play all the top tier decks. This is... I would say it's not S tier, but it's very, very good. It's an A tier commander. It's a aggro Izzet deck, right? Usually revolving around prowess type effects and really low mana curve in order to pump up all your creatures and swing in for damage really fast. Is this the discard one? Yes. Okay, so we have 3 lands. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, creatures you control get +1/+0. So Virtue takes care of this. We can kill this at instant speed. They have blue in their deck, so let's just get rid of it now. We don't want to have our spells countered. And there's no real benefit to holding it up right now anyway. We could have held up Memory Lapse to counter their commander, but I feel like if you remove their creatures, this deck doesn't work. So it's definitely fair to just remove stuff. They do have a blue up. They could have Spell Pierce or something like that. We only have one black, so we can't duress them and then do our thing. But I guess we could duress them and then Memory Lapse them. So yeah, why don't we take a peek? I think this would be the best play. I was thinking we could just Virtue this. Yep, they had Spell Pierce, so that was a great duress. Okay, get rid of that. Behold. I think it's better to Memory Lapse their commander. I'm just gonna pass. Did they draw a counterspell? That's a sorcery, so I'm not sure what would be causing stick here. They might have... Their deck has lots of instant speed spells. Okay, so they decide to put it back in command. They can't recast it. Okay, they tack in for 4, sure. Brainstorm. Brainstorm. Well, here's the thing. Essentially, once we get Atraxa down, we're good. Because we have a giant 7/7 lifelinker, and their deck doesn't really have anything to deal with that. So we just gotta survive until we get to Atraxa. So what's the best way to do that? They have a land and one mystery spell in their hand. I think we got a Brainstorm, main phase Brainstorm. Hopefully we get a fetch. We do not. So we just Brainstorm locked ourselves, although we can get out of it with Behold. We can Fatal Push something. We need the land. Miscast is probably not great here. And neither is Essence Flux right now. I'm clicking the card. Hello, Arena, thank you. We'll do it like this. We can Fatal Push this guy. We could also Fatal Push their commander. Play the land. We have... Yeah, let's do it like... Oops. Let's... Yeah, Behold this. Cool. The auto tapper worked. And... Let's Fatal Push their commander. They have a red source. We know they don't have Spell Pierce anymore because it's in their graveyard. So I'm not worried about being countered here. Almor now costs 6. We're only taking 3 damage here. Miscast. We can Soul Shatter them. We can Virtue them, although this is a sorcery. We could also just... I think we gotta Behold to get lands. I think that's what we gotta do. Yeah. We can Behold and still do some other stuff. So, bottom... We'll take the land. Okay. We definitely need another black source, so that's good. Let's just Virtue this now. Okay. And we still have a blue up for Miscast. In case they cast anything worth that. Unless they pay 3. You may discard a card. If you do, draw 2. Create a Wicked Roll token. Okay, so we could miscast them and make them pay 3, and then that would be their whole turn, right? Yeah, that's worth it. So now they gotta decide whether they want to draw 2 and then end their turn, essentially. I mean, they'll attack us, but they're gonna pay the 3. Cool. Now they have 3 power on the battlefield. Did they get rid of... Yeah, they got rid of some creatures, so we can... If we get to 7 mana, well, we can Atraxa, but we can also Virtue. Time Warp is good. Let's... Enter tapped. We don't need to take more damage than necessary. Take an extra turn. We should have Atraxa mana, right? If we go get... No, we need a white. Oh, we need a green and a white. No, I think we just need white, right? Atraxa? Hello? Okay. Refill our... Yeah. Yep. So, the reason I said that once we get this down, it's basically GG, besides drawing a whole new hand, is it doesn't have a lot, or at least this version of it doesn't have a lot of ways to do 7 damage to this creature, so the only other thing they would have in this deck is bounce spells, which kind of benefit us anyway, because we can just replay Atraxa and draw more cards, so they're at a very steep uphill climb, and then all they have to do is look at our, the cards you're about to take, and it's a bunch of cards that basically stop them from doing what they want to do, so I don't blame them from scooping it up. Alright, game 1 down. Dimir Atraxa doing its thing. We'll see who we get next. So, a little side story. I recorded a video right before this one, and for whatever reason, my arena was kicking me out, and OBS was having issues, so I restarted my computer. But I had a game where I beat Rusko with this deck, and I had Narset down, and they had like 5 midnight clocks all going off, and they drew 0 cards. Because, well, I think they drew 1 per midnight clock. It like shuffled their hand away and they drew 1. Just for the card that they draw for turn. But it was hilarious. Like, they had no cards in hand and they couldn't draw into answers because their only way to draw into answers was with midnight clocks, and Narset was turning them all off. So there was like 5 midnight clocks that all popped off in a row and they drew nothing. It was absolutely glorious. But of course the file's corrupted now, so I can't show you, but you'll just have to take my word for it. Nicol Bolas, yeah, pretty... This version is especially annoying. We have lots of counter spells, which is great, but no blue mana, which is bad. So we gotta... I think we gotta mulligan that. Blue, black. Yeah? I think this works. This is a nice way to draw again with Atraxa, so I think we'll do it like this. They get to go first, which is a bummer. Oh, that's amazing against them. Okay. If we get to Thought Distortion, I think we win this game. Bojuka Bog, just because it's tapped. Sad Bojuka Bog. But better than Bojuka Bog later. Do we think we're going to Spell Pierce? Or, not Spell Pierce, sorry. Memory Lapse? I don't think so. Yeah. Okay. We can Rhystic Study and take a counter out of their hand, right? Or we can Rhystic Study and they have no way of interacting with it. We could also wait. We could blow up their Sulphurous Mire and go mana fix ourselves and get something. Yeah, I think we... Next turn they have 4 mana. 4 mana is when we start getting into spells that I'd want to Memory Lapse. They're a little frustrated that I'm thinking. That makes me think they definitely... If they're feeling impatient, that makes me feel like they definitely have a counter spell. Because otherwise, why would they be impatient, right? They have something to do. Narset. So we can Memory Lapse that. And then get down our Rhystic Study next turn. They're in Grixis, so they have no way of interacting with enchantments. They can pay the 1, but then that's their whole turn.
Those who
Now this does turn off Rhystic Study, so we got to find an answer to that. But again, once we get to Thought Distortion, we're doing good. What does this do? Okay. Let's pass. We're not under any pressure. They still have to pay the 1 because this is only each of your turns. So we can still draw a card on their turn. An extra card, quote unquote. Mystical Dispute's pretty good. Thoughtseize. Let's let them pay the 1. We can get rid of that. They can't pay for Spell Pierce. Our turn. This is a counterspell for anything that's blue that we play. Yeah, I think we just keep rolling. They're falling asleep. We do need some Planeswalker removal. They are 1 land away from casting Bolas, which is probably GG. But we'll see. We fell really behind on lands. Liliana. They can't pay the 1. Yes, I would like to draw a card. Too bad it's not a counterspell. Let's blow up their land. Go get double black for Thought Distortion. We're really far away from Magic Mirror, so there's no point getting triple blue right now. We could also mana fix for Atraxa, but I think we're just too far away from that on 4 lands.
Warrior Queen Necromancer has a nice ring. Putrid, but
I don't think there's going to be many more targets for Fatal Push, so might as well do it. They do get to draw a card, but it takes pressure off the board for us. They have 1 blue open for their Mystical Dispute, so we got to be careful. Okay, this is a land, so get that down. So we're 1 land away from Thought Distortion, but I mean, they're going to play their Bolas. I think that's GG, right? We don't have a counterspell. We'll see. We could off the Rhystic Study trigger, draw into a counterspell, so we'll see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep, so if they want to play their Bolas, Cruelty of Gix. Pay the 1. They're not playing their Bolas. I think they think that we have a counterspell. You choose a creature or planeswalker, so they can't get rid of Thought Distortion. Creature or planeswalker. I don't have any creatures or planeswalkers, so go ahead and resolve that. Land? Nope. Yep, they have blue mana up for Mystical Dispute. I think that's GG. I think we can just scoop it up. Not really. Didn't draw lands. I have 40 in the deck for all you people who always say I don't put enough lands in, so I have 40 lands in the deck. Sometimes it really is as simple as who goes first in these S-tier Hell Q games, you know? I find most of the time if I go first, I have greater chance of winning, and if I don't, you know, I basically am fighting an uphill battle the whole game. So it is what it is. But then if you compile that with, you know, missing land drops, especially in Dimir colors, yeah, it's gonna be a very, very hard battle. And then, you know, when they eventually did slam their Bolas, it's GG. Even if we thought distortion them, that playing their Bolas gets them right back in the game. So it wasn't a real reason to stick around. We get to go first, so that's, again, like I just described, a huge advantage. Duress, I don't know how much that's going to hit in their Vorinclex deck, but we can still do it. Blood on the Snow is good, so I think we keep. Okay. Well, it hits a lot more stuff than I thought. Alchemy cards, man. Ramp and a good card, so I think we take the good card. We can't stop them from ramping. This deck is gonna ramp. It's mono green. That's what mono green does. We could get all our colors. We need double black eventually for this, but we'll probably draw more black spells. So I think we just pay the 2 life. Or tell this. Okay, we have a swamp. We can pass. They're on 3 mana, 4 mana. Yeah. We don't care about them ramping. I mean, we would like them not to ramp, but we can't stop it. So we don't want to waste our counter spells on their ramp. We want to counter their spells. Pass. Behold the Multiverse. Saw Coming and Wash Away are both good. Do we need both of them? Yeah, I mean, we have a land in hand, so I think we'll take both. Yep, that's a good one. Yeah, we can wash away their commander, which is probably what they're going to spend their next turn doing. They don't get the ETB, so they don't get the lands, and that's their whole turn. Okay, this is a land, so I don't know, do we hold it? I think so. I think we could just Fable Passage here. We have all our colors, right? We have multiple black sources as well. So maybe just go get more blue. Yeah, because we have blue, so black, white, blue, green. Yeah, so we have Atraxa mana. So let's just pass, see what they do. They can Vorinclex again, and we can counter it again. They can go get more lands. This is a bad version of this, because they don't have a creature 4 or greater on the battlefield, so this is kind of a desperation move for them. Derek's Uprising. Definitely worth countering. Definitely worth countering. Soul Shatter. Yep, we'll take that. That's their card draw, so let's get rid of that. We still have a counter in hand. We're getting very close to Atraxa. We can Ugin. They have mana for Vorinclex. So do we... Does it have haste? No. Let's do this. They can put some lands in their hand. We don't care about that.
Secrets manifest before you.
Okay.
Be gone, interloper.
I think we do this to try to hit a land. And we do. So we'll have Atraxa mana next turn. We have Soul Shatter up. And I think we're in the driver's seat as long as we can continue to remove their stuff. Lotus Cobra. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I don't think there's going to be many other targets for Fatal Push, so let's just get that out of the way. I don't think that's enough to fight rigging. Sure, that's fine. What is it? If you control a creature with power 7 or greater. Okay. They do not. Opponent is thinking. Well, hopefully they don't salty scoop us, because I'm looking forward to casting Atraxa. They can scoop after I cast Atraxa, but at least let me cast Atraxa. Yeah. Womp womp. Well, maybe they're actually thinking about a play. Let's just give them the benefit of the doubt, but we'll go over our next turn. So we have 7 lands. If we draw a land, that's great. If we don't, it doesn't matter, because we can Atraxa. There's probably going to be a land in our top 10. It'd be very weird if there wasn't. So we'll at least get one land down next turn. And we'll have a bunch of stuff in our, we'll refill our whole hand. Their next turn. So I guess we'll plus Ugin, right? We'll have 2 2/2s. We'll attack with 1, get them down to 21. And their next turn is basically just playing this again, which we don't care about because we'll just Soul Shatter it, or we'll Ugin it. Or we'll use one of the many spells that we draw. I don't know what this means. Is this arena bugging out? I've had so many issues with arena recently. What does this mean? They're just on infinite time? That probably means the program's crashed. Okay. Let's, I feel like I have to do this once an episode now. It's pretty ridiculous. We'll see how messed up our board state is. It should put us back in that same game if they didn't scoop already. Okay, I guess they scooped. I'm just gonna guess that they scooped. Weird. Okay, thanks Arena. Thanks for ruining the end of that game. That was super cool of you. I've talked about it before, but I leave these moments in the videos, 1, because I don't have enough time to edit them, and 2, I think it's important that we all see, Arena in its totality. Like we've had these issues for a long time, and a lot of us have been asking for them to fix these problems, and they just have been going on for years at this point. So, I I'm just gonna let them be in the video because it's a realistic, experience when playing this game. I feel like it used to be once a week, now it feels like once every other day this happens, so. Not gonna cut it out to save face for wizards. They gotta fix these problems. They're making so much money off this game, they can easily fix them. We'll see who we get next. Abuelo. Ancestral Echo. What is this? Oh, it's a new card. Okay, Flying Ward 2. Exile another target creature or artifact you control. So it's Azorius Blink. Okay. I feel like Yorion would be a better card to play, but okay, it's fine. So blue-white control, blink, not control, it's like blink, blue-white blink. It could be, they could have like a controlling element to it, but might not. We have a lot of mana and time warp, but they might run counters. Into the Royal is good against them, I guess. Do we keep this? It's kind of meh. We can Field the Ruin to go get another, to get a black source or whatever we need. So I guess, yes, it's a little awkward, but better to have lands than not have lands, I guess. Wash Away is good. That makes his hand way better. This is an island, so it'll allow Castle Vantress to come into play untapped. Double white. Okay, create some gnomes. Sure. This might be really good later on. We'll hold up Into the Royal and Wash Away and see where that takes us. Commander? Okay. Sure. Goes right down. All right, same turn as last time. Okay. Make it a big 4/3. Pass. Do we take the hit? I'd like to draw a card off this. I think that's fine for now. We can just take the hit. We can time warp next turn if they don't have a counter spell. Ritual of Soot also cleans this up. But we don't have any black sources. So this is a tough one. We don't really want to take another hit from the 4/3. So we kind of want to time warp. Let's just pass through our phases. It feels like there's stick. They're touching their hand. Feels like they have a counter spell, right? So we could try to draw it out. What is this? Wait, hold on. Cancel. What does this have? Ward 1. So we couldn't hold up Wash Away if we did this. Although this is a Ritual of Soot kills this if they put it down. Yeah, why don't we do this? Try to draw a card. No, wait, no. You know what? Hold on. Z, the cancel, undo all this. We'll do it in their upkeep. If we're gonna do this, we might as well do it right. In their upkeep. And the reason we do it in their upkeep is if they have a counter and they want to use it, it makes them spend their own mana on their turn and not on our turn. Yes. Resolve. So they should make me pay the ward cost first. Pay it. And then they can counter my spell if they want. Resolve. Okay. They don't. So now they can play their commander. They can play Solemn. Sure, that's great. So they tap out. They go get a land. Fatal Push does not work against that. If we do this, we can't Time Warp. I think we just got a Time Warp. We need to draw more lands. That's technically a land. If we could draw a black source, that would be very cool. Okay, so I think we just gotta set up this turn. Colorless... Ironcrag. Land. Hold up Field of Ruin and mana for Wash Away. They can hit me for 3. Land tax. Yeah, that's a good one. Although we have the same amount of lands right now. They have 4 mana left over. It seems like they might not have... This might just be a creature, like, blink... Artifact and creature blink value pile deck. And they may not have counter spells. And if that's the case, I think we're gonna do well once we wipe the board. But they're holding up double blue, and it just makes me nervous. Okay. We don't have double black for rituals set. I should have cracked Field of Ruin on their turn to get at least one black source. So I guess we do it now. Wait, what? Why won't it let me? Oh, because they only have basic lands. Oh, well that's why it wouldn't let me do it. Okay, well we can Castle Vantress and hold up our mana. We can also Fatal Push this thing. Oh, no, we can't. We need a black source. Man, we really need black sources. If we had some black sources, it'd be pretty good. Okay. Taking 7 next turn, pretty rough. I think we just passed through, though. We can at least wash away their commander. But, we're starting to take a lot of damage. This only gets rid of this creature, too. They only have basic lands. That's so weird. Soul Herder's pretty good. So now they can start blanking stuff. But again, Ritual Soot gets rid of that. I have never seen this many basic lands in a Historic Brawl, especially Hell-Q match. Very weird. Pass, hit me for 7. Yep. Ouch. If we had black, we could sack the Mind Stone to get Revolt and kill this, but we just don't. So, this is our play. Polluted Delta works. Seagate Restoration. More blue mana. Really need black. I mean, this will get black mana for us. But we need double black. I think we gotta bin this, right? Or do we just cast it and get even more black? Then, I mean... Yeah, I think we keep. Okay. Not looking good. Not looking good. If we crack Polluted Delta, it's going to shuffle away the other one anyway, so it doesn't really matter if we bin it or not. We could sack the Mind Stone and draw, but I think we need the mana. Okay, Polluted Delta. Do they have lethal next turn? Yes. They have lethal next turn. Yeah, I don't know if there's a way out of this for us. There would be if they had any non-basic lands. We could have fetched black a long time ago. I don't think there's a way out of this for us. What a lame way to lose. Yep. I'm gonna run out of time. Awkward to take a damage here to go get a black source, but we gotta do what we gotta do. Shuffle away Seagate. I guess we just need to take a basic so we don't take even more damage. Although I'd love to take a filter or some kind of, you know, dual land. I guess we can fatal push something now. We could fatal push the 5/4 and only take 7 next turn. And then hope they put a non-basic down, right? I mean, I guess that's the play. This is Ward 1. Soul Hoarder is pretty bad, but this is the most damage. Alright. Draw a card. Brawl. Okay, it's a blocker. We have Revolt now. So is it the Soul Herder then? No, because we can mop up the Soul Herder. I don't know. I think it's just got to be the biggest creature. Counterspell? We have Negate. I mean, they should go for it if they have it. Okay, Brawl's a blocker. Oh. Gets +3/+3. Would be, yeah. Okay. Well, okay. Maybe not. I should have. Yeah, never mind. That was dumb. I thought it equipped automatically, but it does not equip automatically. It's equip 3. Cool, cool. Land destroying myself. Okay. Yep. Again, all this dies if we draw another black source. Get lost. Okay. So we're taking 7 here. All we need is another black source. How is their deck functioning on all basic lands? That's insane. Yep. Oh my god. Just can't do it. We don't have a creature, so we can't explore. Man, what a lame way to lose. There it is. Cool. Had the answers in our hand. Multiple answers the entire game. I think they were in our opening hand, and we just couldn't draw a second black source. Rough. Rough. Against a deck playing all basic lands. Embarrassing. Shuffle is gonna shuffle though, right? We'll do one more. I don't really count that last game. That was so many things had to line up for that for us to lose that. We had so many answers in our hand. Just not enough black mana. Because if we did get a second black source and we sweep the board right there, they had 2 cards left in their hand. I mean, we were right back in that game. If they had a non-basic land at any point, we could have Field of Ruined it and gotten a black source. Like, we had all the answers. They just had the exact counter to us, which is playing all basics. It's so weird. They must lose every other game if they're playing all basics, because that's just not how you build a mana base. 5/4, and they want it to die. This hand is They're also playing Dimir. We have the ability to go get a green or a white source, but not really helpful, because this is probably what we would have grabbed. No, maybe we would have green blue? Yeah, we could grab a Simic land. We could get a blue source. I don't think this deck is good against them. Cool. Made my decision easy. I don't know. I'm still a little salty about that last game, so... People, it's amazing to me, like, so we're playing in Hell Q, and people are extra salty, like, extra impatient. It's like, aren't you playing, like, the top tier decks because you're trying to play at a highly competitive level? So aren't you... What could possibly annoy you about someone thinking about what hand they want to keep? Like, that's what you should expect at the highest level of competitive, you know, play, right? That's what like, if you've ever played a tournament, people take their time, right? I mean, you're on a clock, but, you know, people think out their decisions. If you've ever watched, like, any kind of pro tour or anything, like, people think out their decisions. It's not like we're playing unranked, you know, standard or something, right? Like, where you just, I don't know, I'm just going to throw a bunch of stuff on the field. We're playing, like, you know, the top tier of this queue. So it just amazes me people's mindsets when they play up here. They're just like, I mean, if you're playing mono red, sure, you want to play a fast game, but like, you're playing Dimir, you know? Dimir is a deck you gotta think about. So I don't get it. People have the wrong mindset when they're playing games in general anyway. Toski. This hand is okay. Probably gonna make us lose though because we have no removal. So I think this is an easy mulligan. Liliana is great if we eventually get to it, but I think against this deck we die before we ever get to it. They're just gonna have a ton of creatures attacking us each turn. Feed the Swarm, Inferno. Yep, this is much better. Okay. This is indestructible. So we're not looking at killing this, but we're not really worried about the 1/1. We're worried about all their other stuff. Let's just go fix our mana. We have everything. Well, we have a lot of black. Let's go grab this so we have blue. And then we'll just have to find a white source later on. This can technically blow up one of our own lands to get us to have us search for a land, so that's a desperation move, but maybe we do that later. There's a green source. We can just kill it. It's 2 mana. Do you think they're going to have an enchantment in this deck that I need to worry about? Maybe. This is the worst of the removal spells, so let's just do it. It's usually right to kill mana dorks early in the game, so that keeps them off Toski on this turn. They have to play something else. Okay. We true Liliana anyway. I mean, it's a good card. I'm not upset about that. Just get the tap land out of the way. Now we have triple black. I don't think there's anything in our deck that is triple black now that I'm thinking about it, but we have it in case we have 2 spells that are black. Yep, die. Rusco? Oh, that's such a good draw. So, Rusco, make a midnight clock. Create a blocker for Toski as well. Because again, it's indestructible, but we can still block it. And it has to attack every turn. Okay. Yep. Makes sense. We have the Seju for an enchantment if it comes up. We don't have double blue for Narset. We would have if we kept the midnight clock. They can gate here if they want. Primeval Titan. Woo! Okay. But we can Liliana next turn. What 2 lands do they get? Probably Nykthos and what? Yep. So do we cast this? I think so, because then it turns off Nykthos. I mean, we could just blow up Nykthos, but yeah, I think we play this as a land next turn. We at least see what we draw. Okay, we got to wash away for their commander. Not too worried about that right now. We can attack. Let's see if they block. They might. They might not. Yeah.
I do hope you make this battle exciting for me.
Now we can create a blocker every turn for Toski and whatever else they're going to play. They have a bunch of mana, but we're not really too worried about that. Boots. Boots doesn't matter against Liliana. I mean, I guess it gives it haste. Does it also... No, it doesn't buff it. So they knock Liliana down to 1. Sure. We are 1 planes away from playing Atraxa. Oh, they attacked me for the cards. Yeah. I think that's fair. But now I'm going to make a bunch of creatures.
Rise.
I don't have double blue yet. But we do have Bowmasters, so... we could let them attack with Toski and hit me, and then Orcish Bowmasters their stuff. Make a 2/2? Yeah. Okay. Level 2, what does level 2 do? Whenever you attack, put a +1 counter on target attacking creature. So probably going for Toski here. Let's see what they attack. Other tapped creatures you control have Death Touch. Other untapped creatures you control have Hexproof. Okay. That's fine. Lighted Halfling. Pass. What are they going to attack? They're going to attack Liliana? We'll block if they attack Liliana. So they're not going to draw a card, because it's when you do damage to a player, right? Yeah. Pass. Block. Draw a card, see what we draw. Nice. Blocker. Oh, nice. Okay, well, there you go. It is indestructible. So, that was awkward timing. We probably should have waited. But let's do this. Let's go get an untapped... Do we have a blue-white land? I believe we do. Yeah, so now we can cast Atraxa. And maybe that's just what we do, right? We have a giant 7/7 blocker. So we can really erase them. Their stuff has hexproof. What does this last chapter do? Look at the top card of your library anytime. You may cast creature spells from the top of your library. Yeah, that's pretty good. So we have the option to either blow up the board or keep the board state and Atraxa. I think Atraxa is the answer against mono green. Because what are they going to do against a 7/7? Yeah. Well, actually... Hold on, how many instants and sorceries do we have? Because Magic Mirror might be better. 1, 2, 3... Yeah. I think Magic Mirror is actually better than the One Ring. Right? Because it's the same thing as the One Ring, it just doesn't cost us life. Yeah, I think so. Ashiok. More removal. Or is it Time Warp? No, I think it's Time Warp in this situation. Okay.
Good help is easy to find in war.
They have 1 card in hand. Okay. Other creatures you control have Trample. Yeah, pretty good. Elvish Mystic. Okay. Gains haste, I guess. They're gonna try to kill Liliana. I mean, that's what they're gonna do, right? Oh, they're just gonna... Wait. Do you know how Orcish Bowmasters works? Okay. So... Tapped creatures you control have Death Touch. Oh, I see. So these all have Death Touch, right? Yes. So we're not gonna block with Atraxa. We can kill... What? Did they already put the counter on? I think they did. They put it on Toski. Kill the halfling. Yeah. Let the rest through. They're going to draw a bunch of cards. We're going to kill a bunch of their stuff.
Death is enlightening.
So, kill this. Make a 4/4. Make a 5/5. They have 1 green mana. Okay. All right. Yeah. Yeah, I'd scoop too. So, we could have done a lot of different things here. I think I was going to try to get a number of instants and sorceries in the graveyard for Magic Mirror, and then we would just start drawing a ton of cards, but we'd at least attack with Atraxa, gain 7 life. Time Warp. Do it again. And, I don't know, maybe wipe the board. We could have languished them and just kept our creatures, right? It would have killed Toski as well. I mean, Languish is actually really good against their board. Yeah, I mean, we would have found a way. All right, let's crack a pack. Why? Because I like them. I like cracking packs. Case of the Crimson Pulse. Oh, it's one of those like case enchantments. Okay, cool. All right, so deck review. I think it did pretty well. I think there was a couple games where we got unlucky, but in general, I mean, if we're talking about playing Atraxa in Hell Queue against the other best decks, and we're missing 2 of our colors, and you could argue green and white are 2 of the, I don't know, they have significant importance, right, in a queue like Hell Queue. Green for all the mana fixing, right, so we're missing all the mana fixing and the ramp, and then white for all the best removal. So, you know, Dimir I always find is a very hard guild to play. It takes a very particular kind of person to play it effectively, because it's missing a lot of the removal that you want in a controlled deck. I mean, it has black for creature removal, but it's missing basically every other kind of removal. Artifact removal, enchantment removal. I guess it has planeswalker removal, but like it's missing, like, how does Dimir deal with the prismatic bridge, right? How does Dimir deal with a One Ring, right? Other colors like you know, Terra Sunder can deal with this in Golgari, but Dimir just doesn't have those tools. So I think it speaks volume for the deck that we were actually able to be competitive in a lot of those games despite being in Dimir and being, you know, an Atraxa deck without the benefit of all 4 of the colors. So if this was a deck that you liked, deck list is in the description. Go ahead and give it a spin. I'm just gonna forewarn you that you're gonna be in Hell Queue, and the matchmaker's just gonna think you're a normal Atraxa deck. They're not gonna know that you're a Dimir deck, right? So, you know, go ahead and have some fun. I had fun, except for that one game against the basic land player. That was so dumb. I'm still super pissed about that. But yeah, not to say I don't like playing Dimir. I do. I just, when we're playing in a competitive format like Historic Brawl and it's singleton, I think the singleton makes it extra difficult to play this kind of deck effectively, unless you have like Rusko as your commander. But you know, a Dimir deck in a 60 card constructed is really good because it's tuned and it has the right amount of copies of each card. But in a singleton format, I find Dimir kind of hard to play effectively in a control shell. But I think this deck did really, really well. So go ahead and check it out. Try it out. Let me know in the comments if I missed any, you know, blue-black staples that you think should be in the deck that would help a deck out like this. I think the mana, you know, the land assortment is good. I can't really think of any way to upgrade this. You could just say put more all colors of Atraxa in there. I don't think that's the right answer in a deck like this, but you feel free to go ahead and do that. If you like the video, subscribe, like, leave a comment, all those things. I finally hit 500 subs, which has been awesome. I started this channel like, what, 3 months ago, something like that, and I already hit 500 subs. So if you liked what I'm doing and you're into this little mini series, hit subscribe, become part of the channel, become part of the community. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.